Points East Magazine, Cisco Brewers, and Triple Eight Distillery helped make this possible and provide refreshments and publicity.
And now I would like to introduce tonight's speaker and my friend David Liebenberg to tell us more about the American Youth Sailing Force and the Red Bull Youth America's Cup Challenge. David grew up racing Optimists and El Toros in San Francisco Bay. After growing out of prams, David transitioned into skiff sailing, winning the 29er Nationals and North Americans on several occasions, coming in top 10 at the 2009, 2010 29er Worlds. He and his skipper became known as heavy air specialists in the 29er class, having extensive experience in San Francisco Bay and Santa Cruz. In 2011, he came in first in the International 14 Nationals. Congratulations. David is in his junior year at Tufts University and an active member of the sailing team there. He sails varsity in Larks, and he won the 2012 College Match Racing National Championship. David grew up sailing on his family's Express 27 out in San Francisco Bay, and that's where I got to know him, and I'm proud to say that I introduced him to catamarans some years ago when I was out there, and I could tell immediately that he had a body of sailing knowledge far greater than you might think a pram sailor or a 29er sailor, very attentive to details. So it didn't entirely surprise me when I saw that he had qualified to represent San Francisco and the United States at the Youth America's Cup. David is well prepared to step on any boat, figure out what it takes to go fast. He is gearing up towards an Olympic campaign in 49ers, and please join me in welcoming David Liebenberg.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. It's all yours. Thanks a lot, everyone. Let's see. So, what is the Red Bull Youth America's Cup? It's an event that is run by this the same organization that runs the America's Cup. It's for sailors 19 to 24, and there's going to be 6 people on the AC 45s. There's going to be 7 teams competing, 2 U.S. teams. One is the San Francisco team, which we are, and then USA 45 Racing, which is the American team, and 5 other teams. And this is one of the first America's Cup events that will actually have sailors representing their host country. Currently, there's, I think, 2 U.S. sailors on Team Oracle, which is the American team. So that's a pretty cool thing to represent America. So what is an AC-45? It's made of extremely lightweight composite materials. They have a 70-foot tall wing mast, which makes it hard to just tie your boat up and take your main down at the end of the day. It adds a whole slew of logistical challenges, and you need a whole shore crew to de-step or to take the rigs down every day after sailing. They can hit speeds up to 30 knots, which is pretty cool. So how did we get started as a team? Well, personally, I heard that rumors for a couple years that there was going to be a Youth America's Cup event, and I knew as soon as it was announced I wanted to somehow be a part of it. And Ian Andrews, actually our team manager, he contacted me about 2 days after and said he was putting a team together, and everything he said was sounding great, and he's an excellent sailor, and he sort of had the right mindset, and it was very much based on just self-organization and self-promotion and a hard work ethic. So that we formed sort of halfway through last summer, so we've sailed together as a team in Aussie 18s, which we're doing here, and we feel like it's given us a good head start, and we've had a lot of time to sail. So we are the American Youth Sailing Force. This is us at an Aussie 18 regatta in San Francisco at the end of last summer. And so that was the first regatta that we did as a team, and then I was unfortunately at school. But 3 of the members got to sail in the Rolex Big Boat Series on an SL33 catamaran, which you will see later. As a team, we got invited to the tryouts. It was an application process for the Oracle hosted the U.S. selection series, which happened last November. So these are the members on the force. Ian sort of brought all the team together. Ian and Evan go to school up in Seattle. And then Matt Pistay and Mike Meninger were sort of add-ons along the way. And Tommy's from San Francisco as well. And Mikey and I grew up sailing together at Richmond. So we've all sort of known each other for a long time. Ian and I did an El Toro Nationals in Hawaii when I was 8. So we go way back. This is our staff. Vince is our marketing coordinator and video production guy. He sort of has taken over the organization of our team and does a tremendous job. And then Eric is our photographer and is able to make it out to every event that we're at and document it and help publicize us. Let's see. So here's a video about our team.
Sailing course. 6 young sailors on a path to America's Cup glory in 2013.
I think a better question for that is actually why not? Because when this opportunity came along, I had absolutely no good reason not to do it. It's too good to pass up.
That's going to be just an amazing experience, be going that fast in that close to quarters with 45-foot catamarans.
I think it's going to be pretty tough physically because you're never going to have a chance to just sit down. You're going to either be, jiving, tacking, some sort of maneuver, or thinking really hard about what you're going to be doing before you do that maneuver. So it's going to be tough.
Carnage. Definitely Carnage. I think it'll be good for TV. Maybe a little bit like NASCAR, but with 19 and 24-year-old drivers.
Once you can get around the course with the boat upright and good maneuvers, you're going to be a leg up on everyone else who's still struggling with that. But there's going to be plenty of teams who have all their boat handling perfect. So then it's all about tactics and strategy.
But you can see from all the video of the guys sailing them now, it's insane. And the guys are going to be running around everywhere, and you gotta know exactly where you're going, exactly what you're doing. And
every regatta I'm on the computer, on the TV, watching these guys and replaying maneuvers, things like that, and just trying to figure out what we'll have to do. Just because if the conditions are as fresh as they are expected to be, and with how extreme the boats are, I think just getting around the course will be a deciding factor on who wins the race.
So just exactly how do you go about getting practice before you can sail on an AC-45?
the current plan is to sail as many big cats as we can, because that's the absolute closest thing we can come to an AC-45. And the current plan is to go sail in the SL33 and the Extreme 40, and even today in the Lightspeed 32.
Should really be our goal, is handling the boat properly, no matter the currents, whether it's light and flooding or heavy air and ebb tide. We need to be able to handle the boat in anything, and then from there, tactics I think is gonna separate the fleet.
Getting the coordination and teamwork down to a science, so we all know exactly what we're doing and we're on the same page during every maneuver, is going to be key. Maximizing our time on high-speed cats in the bay, especially as a team, will give us a leg up.
I think teamwork's going to be critical. I think that's going to be a very big deciding factor on who the best teams are. Any team that can get around the course without having any major foul-ups or anything like that will probably be the winner.
What were the takeaways from today's sailing?
Cats are fast. Haven't sailed one of these before. It's harder work than I thought.
I need to hit the gym a lot.
Yeah, we had a pretty good time out there. Good breeze, and this boat's sick. It's really fast, real safe.
This boat is actually pretty forgiving, And with 6 people working full-time on the boat, it'll be a lot more coordination required.
High performance skiffs and stuff, I'm sort of used to that oh shit factor. So, I mean, obviously the 45s is going to be a lot more intense, but there was never any panic. It's just like, okay, you know, your sort of instinct or your experience comes into play, and, you know, as far as turning the boat or using the traveler or whatever you have to do in that situation to save yourself.
The American Youth Sailing Force has a plan and the experience. If you want to help them, go to their website and give them a hand.
I forgot to mention earlier, if you guys have any questions throughout, just shout them out. Don't need to save them for the end. Let's see, so we're one of 2 teams selected to represent the United States. The selection process for the U.S. happened in November, which I will talk about later. The majority of our team has ties deep in the San Francisco Bay Area. As Richard mentioned, I grew up sailing there. So did Mikey. Mikey and I have grown up at Richmond Yacht Club, sailing the junior program since we were probably 10. And Ian did a lot of skiff sailing on the city front, which is just out past the America's Cup there, under the Golden Gate Bridge. And as well as John Kostecki and Paul Kayard also grew up sailing in the San Francisco Bay, so there's a lot of history surrounding the America's Cup there. So the challenges we face, as that video sort of pointed out, strength and fitness and conditioning is incredibly important. So I was talking to some of the Oracle guys, and one day when they went out and were sailing, they had some heart rate monitors strapped to them, and during a practice race, their heartbeat was at 80 or 180 the entire time. And I mean, they're in the gym at 7 every day, and some of the best conditioned athletes I've been around. And so if they're having to work that hard to sail the boats, it's going to be quite a struggle for all of us. We're fortunate to have access to Oracle's base. We have an office right across the street, and that sort of lets us get to know all the different Oracle guys and the different organizational spots, as well as some of the sailors and coaches. But that being said, we still have a limited time in the boat, so we need to take advantage of that. And just before we go out sailing every day, just have a game plan of how we're going to use every minute in the boat. And also, as the video highlighted, teamwork's going to be incredibly important. We all need to be on the same page and be able to sort of understand when something changes without having to talk about it, because you can't really talk to someone 20 feet away from you on the boat when you're going that fast.